The Zalthurian fleet hung in the void like predators circling wounded prey. Commander Zixtal observed the human vessel through his neural interface, his three eyes gleaming with what his species called contempt. The ship before them was crude, blocky, covered in primitive armor plating that looked like it belonged in a museum of primitive warfare. A metal coffin, Zixtal clicked through his translator. These humans still use chemical propulsion and kinetic weapons. How did such a backward species even achieve faster-than-light travel? His crew chittered in agreement. The Galactic Council had warned the Zalthurians not to engage the humans, but warnings from bureaucrats meant nothing to warriors who had conquered 17 star systems. This human ship, the UNSC Defiance, was alone, separated from its fleet, limping on damaged engines. Easy prey. Inside the Defiance, Lieutenant Jennifer Rains wiped sweat from her forehead as she monitored the tactical display. The bridge smelled of burned circuitry and fear. Half their systems were offline. The FTL drive was shot, and they were outnumbered 5-1. "They're hailing us again," said Ensign Jack Morrison from the communications station, his young face pale but determined. Same message. "Surrender or be destroyed." Jennifer glanced at Captain Rodriguez, who stood at the center of the bridge like a statue carved from stone. His jaw was set, his dark eyes calculating. "Jack, open a channel," Rodriguez said quietly. The alien commander's face appeared on the view screen, a nightmare of chitinous plates and mandibles. "Human vessel, you have 10 of your seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Your primitive technology cannot harm us. Surrender is your only option." Captain Rodriguez smiled, and it was not a kind smile. "Commander, you've made 2 mistakes today. First, you assumed we'd surrender. Second, you assumed you knew what our weapons could do." Zixtal's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. "Your railguns cannot penetrate our shields. Your missiles move like crawling insects. What could you possibly—" Rodriguez cut the transmission. "Jennifer, status on the Mac?" he asked. Jennifer's fingers danced across her console. "The magnetic accelerator cannon is at 97% charge, sir. But we only have 1 shot. If we miss, we won't miss," Rodriguez said. "Jack, I need you to do something for me." Jack turned from his station, his hands trembling slightly. He'd been out of the academy for less than a year. This was supposed to be a simple patrol mission. "Sir, broadcast our black box telemetry on all frequencies. If we don't make it, I want the Council to know what happened here. I want them to know humans don't go quietly." "Aye, sir." Jack's voice cracked, but his hands were steady as he worked. The Zalthurian ships moved into attack formation, energy weapons charging with an otherworldly glow. They had done this 100 times before: disable, board, enslave, or destroy. Standard procedure. "They're charging weapons," Jennifer reported, her voice tight. "Multiple torpedo locks. Sir, they're going to open fire in 20 seconds. Let them get closer," Rodriguez said calmly. "Jennifer, what's the one thing every species in the galaxy uses for their ship shields?" Jennifer understood immediately. "Energy deflection matrices, sir. They're designed to disperse plasma bolts, particle beams, directed energy weapons." "Exactly. And what's our Mac fire?" Jack turned around, his eyes widening with realization. "A tungsten rod. Pure kinetic energy. 60 tons of metal accelerated to 4% the speed of light." "A rock," Rodriguez said, his smile growing. "The oldest weapon in human history. Just a really, really fast rock." The Zalthurian flagship moved confidently forward, its shields shimmering with enough power to deflect a small sun's worth of energy. Zixtal watched the human ship with growing impatience. Why weren't they firing? Why weren't they running? "Target their engines," he commanded. "I want prisoners to—" Jennifer's voice cut through the bridge of the Defiance. "Mac charged. Target locked. Firing solution perfect. Fire," Rodriguez said. The Defiance shuddered as if struck by the hand of God. The magnetic accelerator cannon, running along the entire spine of the ship, unleashed its payload. 60 tons of tungsten carbide, accelerated through a tunnel of electromagnetic coils, reached a velocity that made conventional missiles look stationary. The round crossed the distance between ships in 1.3 seconds. The Zalthurian shields, designed to deflect and absorb energy, did absolutely nothing against solid matter moving at 12,000 kilometers per second. The tungsten round passed through the shield like it wasn't there, struck the flagship's hull, and physics took over. The kinetic energy transfer was catastrophic. The rod punched through the bow, through 3 decks, through the reactor core, and out the stern, carrying superheated metal with it. The flagship's reactor went critical. and the resulting explosion lit up the void like a newborn star. The other 4 Zalthurian ships froze, their sensors struggling to comprehend what they'd just witnessed. Their flagship, their pride, their technologically superior vessel, had been obliterated by what their databases classified as a primitive kinetic weapon. Jack's console lit up with incoming transmissions. "Sir, the remaining ships are hailing us. They're requesting terms of withdrawal." Rodriguez leaned back in his chair. "Tell them they have 60 seconds to jump to FTL and leave this system. Tell them if they ever encounter a human ship again, they should remember what happened to the ship that called us primitive." Jennifer couldn't help but grin as she watched the alien ships scramble to retreat, their FTL drives flaring to life in panicked succession. "Sir, should we pursue?" "Negative. We barely have enough power to limp home as it is." Rodriguez stood and walked to the view screen, watching the last alien vessel vanish in a flash of distorted light. "Besides, they'll spread the word better than we ever could. Jack, make sure that telemetry gets to the Council. Let every species in the galaxy know. Humans might not have the fanciest technology, but we've been killing each other with rocks for 50,000 years. We've gotten very, very good at it." As the Defiance began its slow journey home, Jack couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. The aliens had shields that could stop stars, but they'd forgotten the oldest lesson in the universe. It doesn't matter how sophisticated your defense is if your enemy hits you with something you never prepared for. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not with the most advanced technology, but with the most important advantage: the creativity born from millennia of warfare. The ingenuity of a species that had survived ice ages, plagues, and their own worst impulses. And the galaxy was about to learn that lesson the hard way.